If you've ever been an owner, a manager, a boss, or a leader, you might have had the unfun privilege of giving corrective feedback. If you're a leader very long, you might have to give the terminal feedback of firing someone, of letting them go, of terminating them. Have you ever heard of a leader firing someone and the team member is closer to them after they get fired? How about thanking them? How about maybe even seeing them months later and getting a hug? And when they went in for the hug, they didn't have a knife or a weapon. I've had that privilege. It hasn't always been that way. My relationship with feedback has been a roller coaster. When I was in my 20s, I was leading an organization and everything was up and to the right. And I had a leadership consultant said, "Hey, it looks really good on the outside. Do you want to know what's going on the inside?" And I was like, "What? Sure. Okay, well, next time you have a leadership meeting or retreat, bring me in. I'm going to kick you out, and we're going to look under the hood of your organization and see what's really going on." I was about to receive some feedback I did not know I needed. Basically, he asked the team, "What's it like to work on the other side of Jesse?" And over 50% of my leaders in that organization all chose the same word. He's intimidating. I was like, wow, I thought I was a nice guy. I thought everybody kind of liked me. We were running hard and everything was moving up and to the right. I thought they were going to enjoy this experience. I was kind of prepared for, oh, he's got that southern drawl. He's got bad grammar. He's got that bald head that blinds when it shines. But I wasn't ready for intimidating. So I said, man, I don't ever want to receive that feedback again. So I over-indexed the other way and said, I want to make sure people like working with me. After I led that style for a while, I was in another leadership experience, a leadership seminar, and the consultant was teaching on feedback, real in-your-face feedback, and had all of us leaders stand up and judge each other with only one or two words. You're either a giver or you're a taker. And if you were a giver, they gave you this little item, and if you were a taker, they took it away. After that experience, we all lined up from most to least, and I was right in the middle, and I was feeling pretty good about that. And the facilitator looked right at me, and he said, "Hey, you in the middle, I bet you're feeling pretty good about that." He said, "You may be one of the weakest leaders in the room. You didn't have enough influence to sway people either positively or negatively." Wow, that hit different. I think sometimes in leadership we have a false dichotomy. I will either be tough or I will be tender. I'm either going to be about grace or I'm going to be about truth. I'm going to do profit or I'm going to do people. What if you don't have to choose? What if there's a third way to be tough and tender, truthful and gracious? What if the place that you work, where you lead, people are believed in the highest way, but they're also challenged in the greatest way at the same time? That's what I believe leading to keep is. Learn to lead in a way that your great people want to stay. A lead to keep leader owns their leadership. How many of you in here have ever worked for a leader who's not self-aware? Yeah? And if you didn't raise your hand, you might be that leader. People aren't looking for a perfect leader, but they are looking for a real one. A leader who owns their mistakes, a leader who owns their leadership, a leader who owns their contribution to the morale of the team. People want to follow that leader. People today leave great pay and great jobs for lousy managers. People are willing to stay at hardworking places where they don't make much pay for great leaders. The team that a person wants to be on is where a leader owns their leadership. A lead to keep leader owns their leadership. A lead to keep leader also makes more deposits than withdrawals. Many of us have worked long enough to be on teams where the leader comes in and notices everything that's going wrong? What would it be like to be on a team where the leader notices everything that's going right? Where they make more deposits than withdrawals. In our leadership teams, we would ask people when they would come on, hey, what's your bucket list? What's your dream? And one day I was reading and one of our team members had this bucket list that they want to do a cartwheel. And I'm like, man, that's easy for us to fulfill. Why is this such a big deal? Well, this person has seizures and they can't get their license until they go a certain amount of time with no seizures. And if they could do this act, this physical motion, they would have self-confidence. And so I found a cheerleader, I found a gymnast, and after one of our closes at night, we taught them how to do a cartwheel. We made their bucket list happen. How many of you think that person wants to stay on the team? And when other people see that you invest in them, not because you pay the most, but because you paid the most attention to their dreams and their lives, that's a team people want to stay on. A lead to keep leader not only owns their leadership, not only makes more deposits than withdrawals, but a lead to keep leader makes the tough call. We've got to move away in leadership and workplaces from this language of work team as a family. Why? Because you don't fire your sister. You may want to, but you shouldn't fire your sister. If they're family, they're family. But in teams, you should let people go. Even though they may be crushing it in their area, they may be killing your culture. And to keep that poison on the team, to allow the team to be sick, to make poison happy, that's not a win. That's a slow leak. Some people don't like strong leadership, but no one likes a weak leader. A lead to keep leader makes the tough call. What would it be like to come into a workplace where people didn't dread Monday morning, but they were excited Sunday night? Not because they're coming to a perfect team, but they're coming to a real team. A place where people believe in them at the highest and challenge them at the most difficult. A lead to keep leader owns their leadership, makes more deposits than withdrawals, and makes the tough call. I started this out with asking, have you ever heard of someone getting fired and hugging you? My family and I went to a restaurant and we walked in and I saw one of my team members, former team members in the back. And I told my family, hey, I know that guy. I actually let him go twice. My family's like, oh no, he's gonna spit in our food. This experience is gonna be horrible. I said, no, let's just wait and see. I hadn't been their boss for 2.5 years. They saw me, we got through the line, they came out. Hey boss, how's it going? And then leaned in and gave me a big hug. Because see, it wasn't emotional when I let them go. It wasn't personal when I let them go. I believed in them more than they believed in the mission. I didn't move the standard. I didn't move. They moved. And one team member is not more valuable than the mission or the cause of the organization. The guest, the client, the other team members are so valuable. We are not going to let the team go down just because of one person. But there were deposits and there was belief. And so there was still a relationship even after that final feedback termination. What would it be like for you if you're a leader to lead in a way that people want to stay? Not because it's the easiest job, but because they're believed in at the highest level. What would it be like if on these teams we didn't choose either or? Not people or prophets, not truth or grace, but both and. I want to challenge you to influence your workplace by being a lead to keep leader. Learn to lead in a way that your great people want to stay. Thank you.